thanks, Tamara from BuildingU. She's joining us for ICTC's National Cyber Day 2022. Thanks so much. Okay, so this is a sprint, so you've got to be fast. You've got 30 seconds. Introduce yourself, your team, and BuildingU, and what you're doing about cyber safety. Go.
Okay, hi. So thanks so much for inviting us. My name is Tamara. I'm the sort of founder and operational manager at BuildingU, which is a nonprofit for high school students, putting up sort of free resources for them. We have with us here, Nicholas is our code lead and main developer, and Kushi is a student from our business and development team. We operate in a whole bunch of teams, a whole bunch of high school teams. One of the teams is a cybersecurity team. For what we do for cybersecurity, well, first we have a cybersecurity team, because if you're on the web in any capacity, whether it's a nonprofit or whatever it is, there are going to be rules, and you should know what they are and operate within them. And anything we do at BuildingU, and that's important for BuildingU, we have high school teams around. So we have a high school team around that, and they're organized to learn about data privacy and cybersecurity because it's super important. So, but that also extends into other teams as well, and we can talk about that later.
Awesome. So how does a nonprofit like BuildingU, how do you keep up with cybersecurity?
Well, how do we keep up with it? Well, we're very fortunate. we're very fortunate to have a partner like KnowledgeFlow to help us keep up with cybersecurity, and or to keep up with what is required for or to give us a sense of what kinds of information should be collected, and what sensitivities to information there can be in different places in the world, because our nonprofit extends not just, although we're a Canadian nonprofit, we extend to having students from all over the world. In fact, one of the students on right now is from India, and Nicholas himself is from Chile. So, and I should also say, Nicholas is the person that helps with us with all security of our data, and making sure that the information we collect on students, the small amount of information we collect on students, stays sort of private. So we learn about it from KnowledgeFlow, and then I learn about it also from Nicholas, who makes sure that we keep information sort of safe.
So then when you talk to students about privacy and security, do you find it scares them away? Like, do you find that students are interested in it or intimidated by it?
One of the students said, the students on the R&D team who's not here, she says that students are made to feel very scared and negative about using if something about cybersecurity is, if they listen to it, they're made to feel like, oh my God, I'm going to get hacked. Oh my goodness. So they're very much on the defensive. So I think their response is, I guess I just ignore. And I just scroll through, and we just hope for the best. We just don't do anything. And so what we're trying to do, and the same student from the R&D team, the resources team, also made me aware that on resources itself, she said, we've learned so much as interns, because when they research things, it they qualify the site, they qualify the resource itself. And just little things like a scholarship that seems like that you can't really see much of anything on, that they're just asking for students' information. And it's a $5,000 or $2,500 scholarship, but they're collecting your information. They haven't asked for anything but that. And regardless if they're really giving the scholarship, they might be, or they might not be. Mm-hmm. But the end of the day is you're giving them your data. You're giving this organization all your data voluntarily. And you should think about that are you willing to do that? Like, that shouldn't be like, of course, it's a chance to win $5,000. That you're giving away a significant thing. And she pointed out that is a significant discussion that they had, that they've learned, that not only do they realize that we as BuildingU won't post things like that, but now when they look at stuff, they're like, we're not going to actually apply for that because we can start to see that they're just collecting our data for that. But the idea that you have for high school students to, first of all, when they are made to feel like, oh gosh, I'm just the target, to make it so that it's understandable and that they have some kind of power. And I kind of equate it to the Google reviews. You know, when you go to Google, like maybe it wasn't part of our world years ago to like go to a store and see something and we would get, is it good quality? I guess you feel it, you do whatever you do, and you make a guess about whether you're going to buy it or not and hope for the best. But with online stuff, and with even now stuff, even when you're looking at it in stores, it's quite common for almost everyone to go to a Google review. Yes, it's extra work, but it's something you have power over now to know that, you know, how confident can you be? What do people say about this product? And I feel it's sort of the same, like we have to make sort of extra steps to make people clear about what their options are for looking for when you go to sites, you know, and because I know even when we were in a meeting in the last privacy meeting and the cybersecurity meeting, we were talking about, you know, sites can take your data just by using the site. You're just agreeing to use the data, and that's BuildingU too. That's BuildingU, and I really hadn't thought about that so much. Really, I always think about going to a site and it's only if I sign up for something that they're going to be collecting data on me. And although BuildingU, yes, we're collecting data, we're collecting collective data when you start using the site. Maybe that's not the case for, who knows? Who knows what the case is at other places, but you should be aware that you can be aware of that, right?
Yeah, so. Very good point. Very good point. So I'm going to put Cushy on the spot then. So why did you join the team as a student? What are you getting out of it?
That's a very interesting question. I joined the team particularly because I loved what BuildingU stood for. I loved the idea of high school students working on teams to help other high school students. And Tamara herself, you can see that she really believes in what a high school student has to offer. And I would say what I get out of this is, one, I think I've learned a lot more about business in general and working with other people. Like, our team is huge. I think we have 30 people on the business and development team alone. And I get to work with people from all over the world. And, you know, we reach out to various companies for various different reasons. And we're gonna organize this project that's called $1 for Your Thoughts, which will have companies and students alike attending. And it's all really exciting. There's just so much to learn here, you know?
Okay, so this is kind of our general question that we're asking everybody on the CyberDay panel. So, and this is for all three of you, so you guys can start thinking about your answer. What do you think is the #1 thing that young people need to know about cyber safety? We'll start with Tam, and then we'll go around to the students. Go ahead.
Well, I have to say, and I'm going to steal my student's answer from the R&D team because it's so good. She said, I think the #1, and she's from Kuwait, actually, and she made sure to meet with me. She says, I have things to say. I have things to say. So I'm like, okay, absolutely. And she said, the #1 thing that I think people should know is that you're not alone. And she means it in both ways, that you are not alone. There are people watching you all the time. And that you are not alone, that you can help, that you can overcome, and you can sort of navigate this and feel like you're empowered. So I'm like, wow, I'm definitely using that. So yeah.
Amazing. How about you, Nicolas?
My position in this is basically that one thing is not enough, and basically I have to take two sides of the same coin, basically. In the same way that normal citizenship, you have duties, or basically must, and then you have rights. Cybersecurity for me, or cyber safety, implies that you should have certain knowledge about what could be potentially dangerous for you as an user, but at the same time understanding your rights. And I think there is a missing link there at some point, because we worry very much so, and rightfully so, about data collection, but not necessarily about data use. When we think about data use, most people think about like, oh, they're going to sell it to a third-party company and basically like the raw data. And even though that has happened in the past in several instances, the problem is not only that. The problem is the analysis through mathematical models or any other, like with a certain approach, with a certain forced conclusions, that basically they sell the result of the analysis, not just the raw data. And basically, I think that sort of process that is sort of hidden, because it's coding, mathematics is so very much difficult. You don't need to understand every little detail, because for every company will be different, but you need to understand what will be possibly due with this amount of data. And as I mentioned, your rights about it.
Yeah, very good points. And how about you, Kushi? What do you think is the #1 thing that kids should know?
Personally, I think the #1 thing young people should know about cyber safety is that it's important. I feel like it's so undermined all the time. Like, people don't understand the seriousness of cyber safety. Like, personally working on the business and development team, being part of a organization that is mostly virtual, like, it is absolutely, our cybersecurity is absolutely important to us. Even when we're looking down through contacts for other businesses, we understand how data is presented and how it can spread all throughout the internet. It makes you more conscious of the way you're interacting with the internet and how much you're sharing. I think that would be definitely extremely important.
Amazing. Thank you so much, guys. This has been really enlightening. And like I said, we'll be linking a whole bunch of projects and resources from BuildingU so people can come and find you guys and get involved in some of your projects. Thank you so much.